Okay, there we go.
Yes,
I was like, "What in the world?"
I know. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for doing this.
No problem. I said, you know what? It's Black History Month. When I do this
Girl.
video, it's gonna be the last day of Black History Month going into March 1st, which is like Women's History Month. And I said, I
Oh,
have to get AJ.
true.
Woman history,
True.
Black history.
Girl, yes. Girl, shoot. History in the making, right?
Everything. You are history.
I'll take it. Thanks.
No, I had to do it. So I'm glad that you accepted my request. Thank
Yes, of
you.
course, of course.
So no, I wanted to chat about hair. I wanted to be like really natural, really casual, chat
True. Okay.
about hair. So I wanted to start with what made you start All Natural Kinks and start a natural hair care line centered around hair growth.
You know what? So I think was what started it because it didn't even start as like, you know what? I think one day I want to, build a brand or I want to build like a hair care line. Didn't even start like that for me. Like it started with my personal journey with my hair, like, back when I was younger, couldn't figure out like a formula to grow my hair. Like I felt like I felt like it's a lot of black girl story where it was like it was popping when I was like, 5, I look at
Right.
pictures. And then fast forward a little bit, had the perm in my hair, broke off my hair, and then after that didn't really, felt like it was, impossible and, kind of realized myself. I feel like as you get older, you realize when other people start noticing your hair and start making comments, then you're like, oh, whoa, like, oh, I guess it's not long, or I guess it's not pretty, or I guess it's not like those other girls. And so for me, I went to like predominantly like white school, like long hair. Everyone wanted long hair, curly hair, the pretty hair type of thing. So I'm just like, wow, I don't basically that's kind of where it stemmed from, fast forward a little bit. High school, same thing, couldn't figure it out. And then college, I got real obsessive, real obsessive with YouTube and videos, watching my 5 favorite videos and seeing like, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I'm doing. This is what I need to be doing. These are what ingredients I need to be mixing. This is how to care for like our texture hair. And so for me, again, I got real experimental, just kind of trying different things, going that route. And so again, it was just for me, myself, and a few friends would be like, wow, AJ, your hair's got longer, how are you doing it? And so again, didn't really think anything of it. Fast forward again, out of college, did corporate for a while, and then how many, it might have been 10 years later, literally 10 years later, my fiance was like, wow, you're doing all this stuff for your hair, like why don't you put it out there? And so I was like, no, I'm busy. I have other things. I have other things to do. Like I have other ventures that like I just do it for myself. Well, he put it on Snapchat and was like, look at my girl's hair. She uses these oils to grow out her hair. And girl, people were like, "Well, how do you get it? What do we need to pay?" That type of thing. I'm like, "Oh no, no, it's not a thing. It's not a thing." But then it became a thing, and people wanted bottles, so I got a bottles. People wanted a website. People wanted a place to buy the product, and I started out with just the oil, just the growth oil, and people wanted a place to purchase it, or people wanted a place to pick it up or things like that. I was like, okay, have to make the website, have to make the Instagram, and so the rest was there. And I'm just kind of like, you know what, I don't like just trying to like sell this oil, because what I believe is like it's not just an oil, it's a formula, it's a process. So I really started, getting into not necessarily YouTube, but making IG videos and like letting people know about that way. And then experimenting like, okay, how can I make a leave-in? Okay, how can I do a shea butter? How can I incorporate just not the oil, but the full, like, okay, you need to put a mist, you have to put a leave-in, you have to put, you have to seal it with the shea butter. And I just started experimenting, trying it out there. And literally, the full line was born probably about a year and a half after I launched the oil.
That's amazing. So you just started with the oil and it kind of like
Yes.
gained momentum and you just grew it from there.
Exactly, and I feel like it was kind of, it fell into my lap. I feel like it wasn't like it was a dream, now, I have goals and dreams for it, but it was like it was by demand. Like, it was like, okay, I feel like it's just one of those meant to be things. You don't think you're gonna be in that avenue, but, God's is different sometimes. He's like, "Look, you know,
Right. God's
you gotta."
plan.
Yeah, God's plan. So,
So what made
yeah.
you leave your corporate? Was it like when you did the oil, you were like, I'm gonna leave my corporate American job and just come straight into the hair care business?
So it was I just wasn't getting satisfied for me in corporate, and I actually have another business venture that I do too. I do like lays for graduation, like like different ceremonies, graduations, and so I'd say that to say that business was actually doing well, right? And so I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can either stay in corporate, and keep kind of this as like a side thing, or I can try, to really, I'm to the point where I feel like if I continue my corporate, like I will have to not pursue entrepreneurship because it was just beginning to be too much. Side hustle was taken over. I'll say that. Side hustle was like, look, we can't do both anymore. So, I had to really sit down with myself and just see, okay, with that business, I was like, okay, I have that business. All Natural Kinks isn't popping the way I wanted to, but I had to really say, like, take a chance on self. Take a chance on self. And if something does not pop off the way I want to, then I always have, my degree. I always have like my experience to fall back on just in case. So I felt like this is the only time in my life I felt like I could take a chance on myself. Like, I haven't started a family yet. I haven't done that. This is the time. It's now or never. So that's kind of what made me, it was the commitment, the time commitment was really telling me, you got to try it now.
And you weren't originally in LA when you first started it, right?
No, no. So I'm from Gilroy, California. So like more of Northern California. And so I got a corporate job in DC. And so I was there for 5 years after I graduated. So that's kind of where it was born. So yeah, so DC, DMV area. That's kind of where I had the idea.
Would you say like how did you build more of like a community in LA as far as like a hair community, or was it just
Ooh, that's
everywhere?
good. It was tough and it was very intimidating when I first got here because I didn't really know how to like tell people what I did and how to like network. And I felt I didn't want to sound salesy, like, oh yeah, by the way, every time a conversation would come up here, by the way, buy my I don't know. It was weird. It was I was like it was very strange to me. Yeah,
Bye,
but every time, I don't know. It just was like not natural. So I was just not that natural. Like, oh yeah, I didn't feel comfortable. And I did from time to time, but I just didn't know how to approach it. So what really kind of built the LA community was vendor fairs. Like a lot of like the I went to a few of them. I'm trying to think what was the first one. What Come Up LA, I think was my first one. So it's just a marketplace for Black entrepreneurs. People, they had clothes there, skin products, anything, jewelry, a lot of those type of things. So that was really where I got my start. That was like my start, Come Up LA. And then I just started looking at vendor events during LA. Anyone that would like book me or like wanted me, I would go. I'd go all over, have my little my table, my little products, my little card, my unpack, my, that type of thing. And I just try to make it work, spreading the word that way.
Oh, okay, that's good. I've always wanted to
Yeah.
know because I know LA is like it's an oversaturated market,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I just really wanted to know like how you got that start. Also, AJ, I want
Mm-hmm.
to know out of your line, I know that I want to know your favorites And I
Ooh,
also want to know like
yes.
the fans favorite, like what everybody
Ooh, ooh,
loves.
ooh, ooh. Okay, okay. So my ooh, because I have an old and I think a new. So my old favorite was, and it's still, I still love it, but now I have a, a new baby, kind of, but still love both my babies. But my favorite I think was the leave-in conditioner, was the
Mhm.
leave-in. And I felt it was just good because just the way it like just melted. I felt like it really came in and just it was there, like with the aloe vera gel, like it was just very penetrating. Like I felt like it was very moisturized. And with for me with the kit, like it was kind of like that, like glue, I would say. Like the shea butter for sure is the glue that's going to hold that moisture in, but for me it was just kind of like the thing that really set it off. For that reason, like I felt like it was just a great leave in and a literally leave your hair moisturized. And so that was like my favorite. Now the new baby is the detangler. And so this kind of happened by experimenting by accident, right? And so I was trying different things. I was, because as you know, I hand make all my products. So, before my wash day launch, I was like, look, everything I have to approve. Like if I don't approve, it is not going out.
Yeah.
Like it is not. So I was trying different things with the detangler and I could not get the consistency. So I was doing research and I was trying to figure out what worked, what didn't. And I was trying this formula and it wasn't working. So I actually took out an ingredient and then I kind of came up with that like very slippery type of marshmallow root. And the reason I love it is because with type 4 hair, even 3 hair, type 3 hair, it literally will melt tangles away. Like you put it in your hair and you could really comb through. And because of the consistency, it's like a weird slimy consistency, but because of that, it's easy to kind of comb through. And that was game changer. Like I was finding less shedding, I was finding less, like that ball full of hair that everyone has after during wash
Right.
day. Okay. So I was like finding less. So that was like I felt that was a game changer. And it's funny because you feel like it's a game changer and you have it, but you never, and that's what I had to learn, you never know what people are going to gravitate towards. And so the fan favorite or customer favorite would definitely be the growth oil and the moisture mist. Like I feel like okay,
You know
okay,
how I feel.
I know, it's funny. It is so funny to me because I was like, okay, the growth, yeah, yeah, I get it. But the moisture mist, another accident. Like I was just kind of like, okay, I need something with that liquid base, but still has like that aloe vera in it, and still has the ingredients of that growth oil, all in one. And so I was like, okay, well, little mix, put it in there, kind of changed up the smell and was like, boom, And so I was just like, that'll be perfect for your liquid. And the people kept coming to me, they're like, we love all your products, but that moisture mist, sis. And I was like,
Bro.
the moisture mist, really? I was like, and I was like, oh no, that's just that person. And then people kept coming, like that moisture, like people are like advocates. You like people
Yes.
do not play with their moisture mist, like do not play. So
I don't play AJ. I be at work and people like, oh my God, your hair looks so soft. I said, it's that moisture mist. Let me tell y'all about like I tell everybody about this moisture mist. Like that's my favorite. Like the moisture mist. I
oh,
probably went
love
through at least
it.
4 bottles of your
Love it.
already. I
Yes.
love that mist. And it's crazy that you talked about your detangler because I recently just did a detangler video that I'm gonna put
Oh,
out
nice.
next month, like my 5 favorite tanglers. And your moisture mist
Mm.
and your detangler, like I like the moisture mist because it detangles my hair too. Like it does like a
Yes.
little bit of everything. Like it
Yep.
detangles,
Hmm.
it like moisturizes, it does it
Yeah.
all. And then like your detangler, it slips the knots through.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
use both of your products as like my favorite detanglers.
Oh,
I
yes, I
love
love it.
that moisture mist is serious. Look, y'all, if y'all don't get nothing, it's moisture mist. And the oils too, because I'm not even an oil person. Like I've never been
Mm,
like, I gotta go get those oils for my hair. But like
mm,
your oils, I've
yeah.
got your braid oil, your growth oil.
Oh, love
Um,
it.
your pre-poo oil, and
Oh, yes.
they're all like great. I love it.
Yay. I'm so happy about that. That's
Very, very
awesome.
good.
Yeah, that oil, man. I'm telling you, that oil that mist, that oil that mist. People don't play.
Listen.
Get my 16 ounce, my jumbo pack, okay?
Also, AJ, what did I also want to ask you? Okay, so
Yeah.
have you had any like big hiccups? Like, has the coronavirus pandemic had any,
Mm.
like troubling times for your business or anything?
Yeah, no, that's good. So last year that's kind of where I felt it the most. So I felt like it was actually pretty good for me. Like I did well last year. And I think it was because a lot of people were, I got a lot of new customers and I think a lot of people were trying things at home. I think there were people were trying to, just try out different products and try out different things and trying to find that. And so during that time, I did really well. The issue that I ran into was inventory. Was inventory with bottles, inventory like with caps, inventory like every and shipping times to get to me, right? And then shipping times to get to the customers as well. So everything was impacted. So I was having to, there were like my regular, a wholesaler of who I get my bottles from, who I get my ingredients. It was becoming like a month and a half, 2 months for
Mm.
me to get like what I normally do. And so I was having to like, go to different stores and, drive here and drive there and, use different color bottles that I don't normally use.
Yeah, I
You know what I mean?
noticed. Like, oh,
Just
it's different.
okay. And so it was just having, just different things, even like my labeling, certain times I had to just figure it out, as it kind of came in. So that was like an issue for me. And again, a lot of regular like first class shipments, what I was sending out, they just, some of them, depending on the state, they just sometimes were taking a month or a month and a half. And I was getting a lot of emails like, why is it taking so long? I'm like, sorry,
Right.
no, and I hate that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I love y'all, so I'm just like, man, but you gotta juggle, make it work. And so that was like my biggest hiccup, was definitely with not being able to get my regular inventory or my regular like products and things like that.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I figured because of, all the delays and delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, that was like my biggest.
Also, it's coming together. Also, I wanted to know. Oh, I also wanted to know, you know how people have like a 5-year plan for themselves in their life.
Mm.
What do you see for All Natural Kinks as far as like, do you have like a big goal in mind? Like you want to see it in Target and big stores or anything that you mind sharing? Your plans
Oh
for All Natural.
man, you know what? I feel like for me, and I think at one point I kind of would look at where I wanted it to be, and I think in the beginning it was kind of like I had more of like a, I don't know, not necessarily vision, but I had more of like, oh, it should be like this, or I want, like, and I want it to, be huge. I want to be the next this. I want to be the next, and kind of having those thoughts. But then I kind of like want to, I think about like where I want to be in life, right? And I think about like how I still want my product to like impact, right? And I still want to have like control over my product because ultimately for me what's important is the person that picks it up is to have you know just good hair, like I kind of go back to my goals and what I want for that. So I wouldn't say it would be like I don't know it's hard to kind of say it because I think for me personally when I do too much of that planning, for first of all, it brings a lot of stress, and if I don't achieve that, then I'm disappointed, you know. And I find that if I continue, and it was funny because I was talking to my homegirl about this too, as long as I can stay like consistent with what I'm doing and trying my best and like and trying to grow it in that not necessarily organic, but trying to find it in a more seamless way, then success will come.
Yeah.
And that for me, that brings me a little bit more peace, I would say. It brings me a lot more peace, and then trying to say like, okay, this is what I want, because you never know. You just, and say that's kind of how, the business was. I didn't even know this was upon me. So now, like, a lot of not that I have like no expectations for myself, but I do believe that it will the biggest thing is I in 5 years I want people to have the same impact on their hair as they do now. I think that's my biggest impact, and I want to continue with like that handmade natural type of thing. And so that's what I see. But as far as like numbers wise, and like, of course, and I think in stores and things like that, my biggest thing with that is having access to my customers. So sometimes, it's easier to go to the store than have it shipped to you. Especially, I have a lot of customers in New York. Like, it's heavy out there. So I would love to kind of like, girl, I'm like, look, NY, they be showing love out there. Brooklyn, I'm like, stand up if you have anybody from Brooklyn, because y'all be supporting. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love it. It's great. It's great. But I want them to be able to like, and even in LA, even, like people in LA that like the product, it's just like for y'all, the convenience of just being like, oh man, I need some more moisture mist. Let me go to the store real quick and get it. So that would be my, my goal for that.
True, true. I feel it. I love
Hmm.
it. I'm so glad you have like a lot of New York
Girl,
customers.
heavy, and Florida too. Florida.
Really?
Girl,
Yes,
Florida, is that you? That's
friend.
you. I was
That's
like, look
me.
at Florida. Okay, that's
Miami
you.
305.
Yes, coming through. I'm like, look, I get excited when I see Florida, because also, shout out to Morgan, Alexis, but she's in Florida. She has locks, and so I always, she's just brought in a lot of like love, and a lot of people like come through, and like, oh, that moisture mist and that growth oil. So it's just it's good. I always get excited when I see Florida. I'm like, oh shoot, my Florida people, hey.
Yes. Also, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up, AJ,
Okay,
for
girl. Yeah,
last
anything. I'm
two.
good.
Also, for those aspiring who would like to start like their
Mm.
own hair care line, skincare line, do you have any advice, anything that they
Ooh.
can take heed to, any mistakes that you probably made that you would do better for,
Yes.
anything that any keys that you would like to pass on?
Yeah, yeah. I think a few. So I think the one that's coming to my mind, like as of now, I think would be stick to what you know. Like, I think is really important, and I say that to say like, because I feel like anybody who starts something, like there's a reason for that, right? So some people start, let's say, skincare, or that type of thing, because maybe they've had it, something, with skin themselves, or they know somebody around them that it may have served a purpose, right, at one point, for somebody close to them. All of a sudden, they're so and so wants it, so and so wants it, so and so wants it. Stick with that, right? I think it's just kind of like, and don't so I think that would, sorry, I guess something came through my phone, but I think that would be, one, because when you do like stick to what you know, I feel like it always comes off more authentic, right? And any business sometimes, I mean, the way it is set, the way social media is set up now, the way the internet is set up, there's just pressure,
Yes.
it is pressure to just be like that person. So I always, and so when that does happen, because it happens, we're human, it's always easiest to go back to like, okay, well, why did I start that? Why did I even start that in the first place? And that's kind of what grounds me. You know what I mean? Like, my thing was growing, helping people that had my texture, um, you know, grow their hair out, keeping it healthy, doing that. And so that's my baby. And so that's what I find like, okay, grounds me, keeps me like, okay, AJ, maybe you didn't get what maybe you didn't get all you wanted. But at least somebody got it. Somebody got a kit. Somebody got that oil, and their hair is going to be changed. So I think that would be one advice. And And let me think. I say take the risk. You know what I mean? And believe in yourself and listen to the ones that mean well and the ones that are closest to you, right? Because there's going to be a lot of voices. Like I think when I started, it was a lot of people looking at me like, "Oh, okay. Oh, uh-huh. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of more hair care lines, right? Oh, that's already a thing, right? And so when it was that type of thing, it can discourage you. It can really be like, oh yeah, there are. And it could really kind of put you in a ball. But it was always the people that were closest to me and would, speak love and positive things to me kept me going. You know what I mean? And so I think it's important when you're building that. And because I feel like in a way, when you have a business, it's kind of like walking out naked. You know what I mean? It's especially in the beginning, it's very vulnerable and it's something and it could be very personal. You know what I mean? And so when someone says those comments, it can be like, whoa, like this is my dream and this is what I want. And like, wow, like, it could be
Stomping on my
really
heart.
girl, okay. And people don't mean, people bless their heart, but goodness, you know what I mean? Sometimes they be putting their insecurities on you. It's like, whoa, you know what I mean? Back up. So that again, for me, it's girl, it still happens, okay? But for me, again, it's like, I have really, really good people. I have really good family. I have, my fiance, I have, just my friends that continue to like keep me going, keep me positive, and remind me like you got this. So I think those will be
Love
my two
it. Love
tips.
it. No, I feel you 101% because
Hmm.
I do my YouTube channel and I love my YouTube channel. Like I don't care if
Girl,
I
me
get
too. I love your channel.
thank you. Like I
I
just
do.
like
I love
it
it.
comes natural to like that's why I like
Hmm.
really feel what you say. Like it literally comes natural to me.
Mm.
And I just love it. Like I don't care if I had 2 views, 3 views, like I would do it every single Sunday. Like I don't care
Hmm.
if I got paid for it or not. Like I just love
Hmm.
to do it.
Hmm.
So definitely go for your passions. And it's so easy to get discouraged when you see other people like
Yes.
more viewers, more subscribers, higher success, and you're like, no, but I feel you 110%. So you were literally speaking to my soul right now.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's funny, dude, what I have been, especially this year I did, comparing to where I was last year. You know what I mean? Comparing myself, because I'd be looking at picture, I'm like, dang, like you did that, and like, whoa, your IG looked like that, or like or like your video quality was like that, you know what I mean? And then that really also brings, wow, in that year, like, dang, like I had more views than even in that time or when I first started or even last month or even 6 months, and so that brings me like joy too. You know what I mean? Because girl, I already know your thing was growing. I already know. I'm like, you know it's true. Girl, like you are so authentic with it, like the playlist, and you get the braids going. I'm like, yes, queen, yes.
Don't play about my braids now. Don't
Girl,
play
I
about
know, okay. Girl, shoot. I'm like, yes, yes.
Thank
I love it.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
AJ, I'm not gonna hold you. I
Oh,
really
this was good.
appreciate it.
Yes.
I said that we have to do brunch and lunch. I am gonna hit you up because we do have to hang out.
Oh, yep, yep. Get that outdoor patio, right? Like that, because that's all there is right now. But I ain't mad at it.
No, we're definitely gonna do it, AJ. Like I
Oh,
promise.
I'm down. I'm
Legit.
down. Totally down.
Thank you so much. This is the perfect Black History to end off Black History Month with
Yay.
you. Thank you so much. Thank
Of course. Of course. This is great. Thank you so much again for having me. And girl, you already know, fellow queen.
Thank you.
You already know. Shoot. Like you said at the beginning, shoot, we history in the making, girl.
Period.
You already
History. Her
know.
story.
There it is. Click it. Click it.
Thank you, AJ. I appreciate you, and you have a great night.
You too, love. Have a good night.
Bye. Thanks.